You're about to see a fight. The combatants prepared themselves both physically and mentally for the duel that lays ahead of them. If you've ever seen a fight before, be it live or staged, chances are that you've witnessed it through film or television. Through the years, countless exponents of the martial arts have come and gone across our senses, but a select few have lingered in our thoughts, impressing us in one way or another, making us look at them more than once. Skill, form, strength, power, speed, and charisma are but a few of the ingredients that make a fighter stand out among his peers. But even among the top echelon, there are distinct differences that make each one unique. So, if you thought that all fighters were the same, think again and prepare to be educated.
First of all, I want to say that whether it's Korean styles, Japanese styles, Okinawan styles, Filipino styles, Indonesian styles, Thai styles, Burmese styles, it's obvious all the roots sort of came from China. And what I like to say is, separate of the mechanical execution of the techniques, I still feel that the Chinese principles are the most advanced. They're the most in-depth. They're the most scientific. And although most of the Chinese styles didn't change their manner of execution, they did pass on the principles.
Every civilization in the world has their own form of unarmed combat, but none have had the quality and refinement of technique that existed in China. Through the influence of films, most people believe that Chinese martial arts originated at the Shaolin Temple, which is far from true. Centuries of war against rival provinces and outside invaders gave China a rich background in the art of fighting.
Before the rise of Shaolin, all combat, all martial arts were basically fairly formalized. Ranks that were maneuvered, they were trained, everything from the peasants up to the nobles. There were times of chivalric warfare, but Certainly not in the style that we would recognize as true martial arts. Rigid discipline, fighting in ranks and in groups, maneuvering, things like that.
Chinese martial arts were founded by an Indian Buddhist monk.
Bodhidharma was an Indian monk who traveled to China with the intent of transmitting what he felt was the true teaching of Buddha. Prior to that, he felt that the Buddhism that was being transmitted into China was a distortion of Buddha's original message. He supposedly came into China at 527 AD, and he entered from Canton, and then he traveled up to see the emperor, Liang Wudi. And there's a very famous exchange between the emperor and Bodhidharma, in which the emperor, who had been a converted Buddhist, said basically, you know, how much karmic credit am I going to get for spreading Buddhism in China and for spending all this money on developing temples? And Bodhidharma said nothing. And basically, the emperor didn't understand what Bodhidharma was trying to explain to him in a very cryptic manner, so he was kind of angered by it, and Bodhidharma just left the court. From the court, he traveled up north, where he is said to have ended up at the Shaolin Temple. He started to teach Chinese disciples his version of Zen meditation, which is based primarily on sitting in a lotus or a half lotus position. And he found that over a period of time, these monks would fall asleep, or that they were getting very weak because they weren't getting enough exercise. So he developed a series of moving meditation exercises, or psychological and physical movements, that would complement the strenuous sitting. The Shaolin Kung Fu training, the physical art, was only an aspect of the training in the Shaolin Temple. It was gym class, so to speak. And that the ultimate goal for these Shaolin monks was not to learn how to kick ass, per se, but actually to seek spiritual enlightenment.
Using the foundation left by Bodhidharma, the Shaolin monks developed their fighting skills to unparalleled heights. Strict discipline, intense training, and a monastic lifestyle turned the monks into warriors of the highest degree.
Only the Shaolins and the monks were forbidden to carry the weapons. So everybody else could quite happily tote weapons around and would therefore train themselves in their use. So the Shaolin monks, being unable to carry weapons by law, would obviously have to study some other way to protect themselves in their journeys.
Centuries after the Shaolin Temple closed its doors, a new monk appeared on the scene.
Hi, do you know who I am? I'm Master Killer? No. I'm Sander? No. I am Gordon Lau Ka Fai.
Gordon Liu was trained by his older brother, Liu Chia Liang, in the arts of five-animal kung fu and Hung Kun. The sincerity he puts in his roles, coupled with the authenticity of his fighting moves, has made him a favorite among movie audiences all over the world. The one big problem Gordon Liu faced in his career was that he became so identifiable as Monk that film producers or even movie audiences didn't want to see him as anything else. Fortunately, Gordon Liu doesn't seem to be upset by the stigma imposed on him. Being a devout Buddhist himself, he seems content with spreading the wisdom of Shaolin through the films he makes.
Do you remember in the 36 champion, I have training many things. I fight into the water and with bamboo and live, many things. It's a real training. Kung Fu is the art culture in China. It's a knowledge. I want to let this spirit and knowledge, that art culture, let all the foreign people know that. You know, when I play every action with spirit, when this, I'm so my side and spirit, give the people know that. Not only pop, this, have tempo and spirit. When I slowly, also like Tai Chi, with spirit. Let all the people, this Kung Fu is not something like Taekwondo, boxing. It's not Kung Fu, it's a knowledge.
Like Gordon Liu, Jet Li found movie stardom playing a monk in a series of films called Shaolin Temple, which were produced by the Chinese government. Jet Li became the first martial arts action film star in China's history, as well as being a smash success in many overseas markets. His popularity was such that fans from all over China would come to his home, many of them walking great distances. Lines of people stretching 5 miles would wait days just to see him. The reception he received from the Hong Kong film community was just as enthusiastic. Top producers and directors all wanted to make a film with him, and his popularity just keeps growing. In the mid-1960s, Jimmy Wang Yu came to cinema screens in Asia and became a superstar. Signed on as a contract player with the Shaw Brothers movie studio, Wang Yu was in great demand by his loyal fans. But many will be surprised to find out that Wang Yu never studied formal martial arts. Most of his fighting experience came from street fighting, coupled with the fact that he was an Olympic-class athlete. One of the reasons he became so popular was due to the fact that he seemed to get carried away by his movie roles and tried to reenact them in real life. It wasn't unusual to read about Wang Yu fighting a dozen men and getting the better hand. After breaking away from the Shaw brothers, Wang Yu worked for many independent companies and showed that he had an unusually creative side to him. His choice of characters, both for himself and his opponents, kept him popular well into the 1970s.
I think the film in older days, that time not many camera tricks. We have to do every dangerous stunt ourselves. Now, because the camera trick and the technique is much better. So the actor is, they are easy to make action pictures. That's the difference between old days and now. Competition is very hard now. That time is not many movie companies. Stories very difficult to get a very good stories now. I love old days, but movie now is also much better.
The man who brought international recognition to the martial arts was Bruce Lee. Through his films, the world saw an undiscovered treasure trove of unarmed combat. Using his incredible physical attributes, Lee could make any type of fighting technique look effective and usable. Anyone who saw Bruce Lee move, whether on screen or off, agreed that they were watching a master at work. As a teenager, Bruce Lee started seriously training in the Wing Chun system of Kung Fu, which focuses on trapping the opponent's arms while simultaneously attacking him with short and powerful hand techniques. In 1958, Bruce Lee migrated to the USA, where he settled in Seattle, Washington. With no instructors to guide him, Bruce started experimenting on his own and started taking students to help him in his training. Needless to say, they were astounded at the skill of this young master.
One of the things that Bruce was trying to do was, that he constantly tried to do, was to get across the idea of simplicity. Don't make things complex when simplicity will do.
When I first met Bruce, he'd been coming around to see Jesse a few times at our place. Jesse and I were roommates. I came around when Bruce was there, and Jesse had already told me about some of the amazing things Bruce could do. And Bruce was just a small person. He was 5 feet 7.5. He weighed 132 pounds. But you could see he was in shape, and he moved almost like a dancer. Bruce stood real close to me, right near a doorway in our little apartment. And he says, well, go ahead, try to hit me. So I was going to reach up and I was going to throw a left jab, essentially, but I was just going to tap him alongside the cheek. I was just going to, he was quite within range of me. He was within punching range, and I was just going to reach up like that and tap him along the cheek. So I said to him, okay. I said, are you ready? And he said yes, and his hands were down here at his sides. And he looked kind of relaxed, and I thought, this guy ain't ready. And I said, well, are you sure you're ready? Because, you know, he didn't realize how fast you can get hit from that range, I thought, you know. And so I said, are you sure you're ready? He said, yes, I'm ready. And I said, okay. I stood there for a second, and I went like this, and before I got that far, my hands were slammed into my chest, and he had his forefinger in a little knuckle like this up against my throat, and he said to me, "Ah, the Fung Nan, the eye of the peacock." And I stood there kind of petrified, and I thought, how the hell did that happen?
Before his arrival in the USA, Bruce Lee was a firm believer in the traditional ways of learning martial arts. This included prearranged forms and exercises. After practicing these movements for years and seeing no positive results, he started to question the whole foundation of the arts, starting with him making adjustments in the Wing Chun style.
It started as just a natural progression of logical moves that eliminated a waist motion here and a waist motion there, introduced a move that worked a little better here and there, and it was a very gradual thing. I don't think he realized it. I don't know at what point he realized he wasn't even doing Wing Chun anymore. He gradually began to realize that the classical martial arts were too restrictive, that you had to move in a certain exact way to do certain exact things, and that they didn't leave anything to the imagination, they didn't leave anything to a person's originality. Everyone had to do everything exactly the same, and they were just simply too constricting.
In the mid-60s, Lee moved to Oakland, California. His new approach to martial arts further developed his already exceptional skills. His abilities were put to the test when a group of Chinese Gong Fu men challenged him.
In those days, they think that the Chinese should only teach the Chinese. And so they selected one instructor just coming from Hong Kong recently at that time, and to challenge Bruce Lee. And they shop his school, and they set the rules, what to go by. And Bruce Lee said, no, you challenge me, and at first I know everything go. And so they start at it, and so Bruce started using Wing Chun, and just give him a strict blast, and the guy just turn around and run.
Wong Jiangman was trying to fight Bruce classical, and Bruce was trying to use Wing Chun, so he went straight in, boom, 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 boom. And then he found out that Wong Jiangman turned around and ran, and there was no defense or offense for a guy running, and you trying to hit him with his head down, going down like he's running with a football, So then finally Bruce stopped him and got him in the corner, and was about ready to lower, the right hand on him. And the guy said, I give up. So afterwards, Bruce said, now I realize if I'd have learned how to box, I would have done uppercuts and hooks, and I would have nailed him. And that was the birth of Jeet Kune Do.
Jeet Kune Do, or the way of the intercepting fist, was Bruce Lee's personal expression of fighting, which combined his physical abilities, personal philosophy, and the direct application of simplicity and economy of motion.
And he had the ability to develop a system, a fighting system that uniquely of his own. He dared to challenge the old system, and he think that the traditional and classical way of training martial art is not the way to go. By so doing, he more or less modernized today's martial art by using modern scientific approach and through constant research, and to develop a system, a fighting system that he called Jeet Kune Do.
The name Jeet Kune Do was taken from the Jeet Kune form that Bruce learned from a Boy Scout master at the Chinese Baptist Church. Bruce conveniently added the word Do, which is a Japanese word, and coined that as a term for his approach to martial arts.
Instead of making believe you're hitting an opponent with a punch or a strike or a kick, he would hold targets up there like professional boxers do in Western boxing and make you fire the kicks and the punches against those targets. So he got us more into target practice as opposed to make-believing. He would divorce himself from practicing the prearranged katas and say, let's spend more time sparring. Let's do the actual engagement of contact. There was a lot of emphasis in the styles on the key to success is to be able to execute the proper technique with extreme speed, power, and deceptiveness. Bruce would take it a step further. It's not only your ability to execute the technique, but also what do you do when you receive the technique. He believed a lot in toughening the body, conditioning the body, being able to endure the punishment of someone attacking you. And so physical conditioning was very, very much a part of his persona, so to speak.
2 words he gave me, and I didn't really understand it until later on. He says, be alive and alert, double A. And now I understand what he means. Being alive is always on your toes. You know, whatever you do, zoom, you're an inch short of getting me. And being alert, boom, right in.
If you throw a punch, you throw a kick, in my personal opinion, the purpose of that technique is to do damage. Well, Bruce Lee had the same philosophy, so we hooked up like that. So let's see, I met Bruce in '67. We started working together later that year, '67, '68, and then somewhere in '69, when I started working with Bruce, I won like 11 consecutive grand championship titles without losing. I became invincible all of a sudden. Well, Bruce hit me just as my career was peaking anyway, so we kind of complemented each other would be the correct word. Bruce and I were always watching idols of his, such as the boxers, Muhammad Ali, Jack Dempsey, Willie Pep, Stanley Sadler. And what we were watching on film were full contact action, stuff that was working for real fighting, real combat.
He showed me a wrestling book he bought that was printed in 18-something, and the guy put his foot on his opponent's toe, hit him, and then took him down. And he said, hey, look, this is really fighting. Stepping on a guy's toe and hitting him and grappling with him.
In 1971, Bruce Lee went to Hong Kong to pursue his film ambitions. Finding instant stardom there, he focused his attention on the art of filmmaking, although he seemed to apply the personal concepts that made him such an exceptional martial artist to his movie career, and with good result. His unexpected death in 1973 put both the martial arts and its movie industry in a state of shock. Nobody has or is expected to replace Bruce Lee in either community. Ultimately, the legacy he left behind is one of inspiration and motivation, by the fact that here was living proof that someone can rise up and exceed the limitations we put on ourselves. And it is safe to say that as long as martial arts exist, so will Bruce Lee. If you've heard of Bruce Lee, then you've also heard of Bruce Lai, the man chosen by numerous film producers to carry on Lee's work after his death.
1970, I get into physical education college, learning gymnastics, judo, and taekwondo, boxing, and Chinese kung fu, Wing Chun, karate. I learned acting to be an actor. But in the beginning, I just a stuntman and a small part actor. The producer, Jimmy Shaw, gave me the English name called Bruce Lee, L.I. But I don't like it because I can act him, but I cannot to be him.
Bruce Lee's emergence into the movie scene immediately raised the standards in fight scenes. Audiences were no longer content with actors who had a few lessons in kicking. They wanted the real stuff, and producers looked high and low for people who fit that bill. One such man was Larry Lee Chin-Kyung, a master of the Okinawan style of Goju Ryu. Larry Lee was a Hong Kong karate tournament champion and special fighting instructor for the Royal Hong Kong Police. His credentials seemed to make him a top candidate to go up against Lee at the box office. Unfortunately, Lee's presence was too strong for any potential contender. Anyone who tried seemed to fall by the wayside, at least in the eyes of producers. But this should not take away from Larry Lee's ability. His execution of technique is superb, and in some ways superior to Bruce Lee's. And there's no doubt that he had all the tools needed to become a star in his own right. Maybe if producers and distributors had looked beyond getting a new Bruce Lee, they would have seen unique qualities of Larry Lee, and history would have written the books differently. His name is Jackie Chan. More than once has he been compared to screen legends such as Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Douglas Fairbanks, Errol Flynn, and even Gene Kelly. The total mastery of his body and anything he touches has held audiences in awe for nearly 2 decades. He has won countless awards for his creative high-wire choreography and stunts. Equally versed in acting, Jackie Chan has become the mark on which standards are set. He has forever changed Chinese films with his unique brand of comedy and acrobatic style of martial arts.
The audience like me, just see my movement, maybe my funny face, these kind of things. So this is why I know the audience, they come in to see it to see me. It's to see Jackie Chan. It's not see the double. So this is why I decide to do the dangerous stunt myself.
Jackie Chan was born on April 7, 1954. His family came from the Shandong province of China, but later moved to Australia. At 7 years old, Jackie and his family moved to Hong Kong and was enrolled at the Chinese Drama Academy, where he studied Chinese opera and martial arts for 10 years.
My father was moved to Australia, so I just stay in the school. We pay $30 for a month and just from 5 o'clock in the morning training until midnight, 12 o'clock. Some teacher teach you kicking, knife fight, everything.
Overnight stardom did not come for Jackie Chan. If anyone...
对面那女神呢？哦，您问的是对面的那个。就是那个长得雪白粉嫩，黑森森的头，香喷喷的口，脆弯弯的眉，冷清清的眼，那么2只金莲一点点。对，就是他。什么人？您问我啊？他啊？不知道。
And that time I just the timing is not so good. Sometimes the action movie coming up, everybody want to watch the action movie, but they finally almost every movie is same. Fighting. No reason fighting. Why you look at me, then keep fighting. 5-10 minutes, the audience get boring. I like to doing action. I like to kind of like a show off. I have a lot of things to show to audience what I can do. People thinking we're speeding up. It's not. Because we're fighting, we're training all my stunt guys almost every day. We know. Right now, we should speed slower. It's very difficult for us is because the companies, the Western people, they can see. When I fight with the American stunt guy, like a 3-punch, see? Our stuntman can do this reaction, but after I 3-punch, the American stuntman first reaction. I'm lucky I'm becoming a star. Then I know the audience. I'm not handsome. I'm not something different. Someday I die. The history book, movie history book, the John Wayne, the Bruce Lee, Jackie. Enough.
His face and body might make you laugh at first, but after a few movies, the respect Samo Hung King Bo deserves follows almost immediately. Known as Jackie Chan's older kung fu brother from opera school, Sammo Hung has carved his own identity right from the beginning. Starting out in roles as a supporting actor or villain, Sammo Hung's talents were slowly recognized, and he became a successful leading man, as well as a top-notch choreographer and director. Although not as acrobatic as Jackie Chan, he makes up for this by staging intricate fight scenes that are always unique and fresh. His knowledge of martial arts runs deep, ranging from traditional weapons to kickboxing.
I wouldn't consider myself as the king of Kung Fu. There are many people better than me. Bruce Lee, for instance. He is far better than me. I've always had the greatest respect for him, and I have learned a great deal about martial arts and movie making from him. I hope that through my movies, I can bring some message and enjoyment to my audience worldwide. After studying the script, I will go and learn the necessary fighting techniques required for shooting the story from a top master of the particular style needed in the movie, whether it be Wing Chun, Northern Shaolin, or boxing. I will then pass on my knowledge to the actors, so naturally I know a lot of different styles. I brought many martial artists to the big screen. Among the best are Yuan Biao, Yuan Hua, and Liang Chia Ren. I'm glad that they have found the success that they so rightly deserve.
Yan Biao is also another success story from the Chinese opera school. A classmate of Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung, Yan Biao rounds out the trio of the three most successful stars to come out of Hong Kong since Bruce Lee. In Jamaica, he's known as the Brigadier. In England, they simply call him Beardy. His name is Lian Chia Ren, a man with a cult following all over the world. Lian is so popular that audiences don't mind if he's the leading man or the villain. As long as he's performing, they don't care. But surprisingly, Lian was never a fighter. If someone can be called a natural, it has to be him. His moves are like those of a seasoned veteran. And all this from a man who wrote to a director asking him if he could be in a movie.
As a young man, I used to watch a lot of kung fu movies, especially those of David Chang and T. Lung. So one day, I decided to write to the studio and asked if I could watch them shooting a movie. The director saw me there and asked me if I would like to become an actor. Just like that. So I did. I had no training experience. I just started shooting right away. Bruce Lee used Wing Chun Kung Fu, and he is, as far as I know, the only person who has been able to show the true power of Kung Fu on the screen. So naturally, when I do a movie, I like to use the Wing Chun style. A lot of people who've watched my movies say I perform the style well, like a real true master. When in actual fact, I don't really know it at all.
好似啊，其實我唔識嘅。
As audiences became more demanding for realism, pure muscle and power seemed the order of the day. Chan Sing has a body that means business when it comes to giving and receiving punishment. His rugged good looks and hard body drew many comparisons between him and Charles Bronson. A student of Goju-Ryu karate, Chan Sing always proved that might makes right. In the era of Stallone and Schwarzenegger, a mighty physique was no longer a novelty, but a necessity. Taiwanese Taekwondo champion Alexander Lowe has the body and the high skill level of a man who is on the top of his game. The power he seems to generate from his body adds a believability that couldn't be found in someone smaller. Alexander comes from a fighting family, so he had to start his training early, which has paid off. Aside from his many movies, he's also a much sought-after fight director. The absolute king of the muscle men is Bolo Young. A former Mr. Hong Kong, Bolo started working with the Shaw Brothers movie studio. His massive frame always made him stand out in a scene. He found international recognition when he appeared in Enter the Dragon and became a star in his own right after a smashing performance in Bloodsport. His martial art of choice is, surprisingly, the gentle art of Tai Chi, although anything he uses seems lethal with the brute force he possesses.
Chinese Hercules. He's the superhuman beast of the East. Bone cracker, head crusher, back snapper, body breaker. Men, women, old, young. Hundreds or one alone. Each challenges and each becomes the pulverized prey of Chinese Hercules, the first and only muscle-mad monster of the martial art. Chinese Hercules. He'll get a crush on you. Rated R.
Muscle can deliver a powerful blow, but skill and delivery of the technique is equally important. And the most difficult of these disciplines is the art of kicking. Unlike acrobatics, which has no functional use in fighting, kicking not only has to look good, but deliver a lethal charge with every strike. As the legs are the more powerful of our limbs, a well-placed kick can break bones or rupture internal organs with the force of a gun. The discipline required to master this form of combat can take years of daily practice, but some men have risen to the occasion, often defying logic with the ability they have. One such man is Tang, who seems more at home with one leg off the ground. His lack of effort in keeping his leg high off the floor for long periods of time is nothing short of amazing.
From a young age, I began to study Taekwondo. I also studied Judo, Hapkido, and Chinese Kung Fu. But I favored Taekwondo as it allowed for full contact, sparring, and competition. I won the all-career championship several times, and I also won the world championship. Competition in the old days was a lot tougher than it is now. Out of 600 or so competitors, to make it to the last two was not easy. Not like now, where the fighting is divided into many divisions. It was a lot harder then. A lot of people wonder about my kicking style, particularly the leg holding and the hopping. Well, there is a reason behind this. In competition, if you kick the opponent's head, you are awarded the greatest number of points. But often when I fought, no points were awarded me when I knew I had scored. So I thought, if I can hold my leg up in the air and keep kicking the opponent or chase him with my kicks, I would surely eventually score a point.
但是他们还是判我输，那几次下来我就很生气，我就。往后跑，很多人。
Later on, no one wanted to fight against me.
这是很久以前的故事。
In his California school, students practice with a dedication not found elsewhere. There's no lack of enthusiasm here. All Tan has to do is put on one of his films, and his disciples get instantly fired up.
Down. Go. 转。再。我在拍电影以前跟拍电影以后，今天。
I like to think of myself as a Taekwondo instructor first, an actor second. I'm a very active person, as you have seen, and I still think even at my age I could compete with the fighters of today.
我想我20来岁的人，我还可以跟他们比。
One of Tan's former students, John Liu, not only showed kicking precision, but amazing flexibility as well. His legs seemed to be held together by rubber bands. The creator of his own style, Zen Kwon Do, John Liu proved a skilled fighter, both on and off the screen, even defeating karate champion Chuck Norris in open competition.
John Leo was my student at the time I was teaching Taekwondo in Taiwan to college students. John Leo was having problems at home, so his mother came to me and asked if I would accept him as my student. John used to clean and cook for me, and in return, I would teach him. His problem was he was very stiff and couldn't stretch. He said that he would endure the pain if it would enable him to kick better. So I forced him into the splits. He was in pain for nearly 2 years, but after he recovered, he could kick well, as everyone can now see.
The man you're watching is a human dynamo. Contained in his body is the force of a small hurricane, which he can unleash with deadly accuracy. He is Casanova Wong, a Korean who found recognition when he went to Hong Kong to pursue a film career. A former Taekwondo fighting champion of the Korean Army, Casanova disciplined himself by practicing his techniques in icy rivers during Korea's harsh winters. If his moves look powerful, it's because they are. There is no faking what he is doing. These men have good reason to be afraid. They are facing the most awesome kicker known to man, Wong Jang Lee, the king of leg combat. With hands and feet, Wong unleashes a barrage of punishment that few men can withstand. His legs are not just used for kicking. He can lock, grab, and trip his opponent just as easy. His leg combinations are like those of boxers. Using his lead leg as a jab, he sets up the opponent for a devastating rear leg attack. Or he might just finish you with a flurry of bone-crushing aerial kicks. The most famous kicker in the world is Jean-Claude Van Damme, a martial artist from Belgium, who followed his dream of movie stardom to the end, thus becoming the highest paid man to appear in a martial arts action film.
My first meeting with Jean-Claude Van Damme was in fact with his father, who introduced him to me. Jean-Claude was 11. Jean-Claude was very shy and skinny. He wouldn't say a word. His father wanted to make a man out of him. I took a special interest in him, and I took him under my wing. I thought we could make a strong man out of this skinny kid. Also, very quickly, I detected that Jean-Claude was very determined. He showed a very resilient and strong character. A lot of people wonder about Jean-Claude's real ability as a fighter. As full contact was forbidden in Belgium, we had to travel abroad. We also used to lie about our age to be able to enter competitions, as Jean-Claude was too young and me too old. We were Belgian and European champions. We beat world champions. It is obvious that one doesn't achieve a career like Jean-Claude's without being a real star, the genuine article. Jean-Claude could have been a world champion, and I was the goal, but we got sidetracked. But before we got sidetracked, I forced Jean-Claude to fight the then number 2 in the world, and he beat him.
You bastards!
The first time I met Jean-Claude Van Damme was in 1981. He was the son of the owner of a small flower shop close to my place, close to the place I was living in Brussels. And the owner told me, you should practice exercise and make some sport. Why don't you see my son? He just owned a gym. And he's a good karate champion. You should see him. So I went to the California gym. I have to tell you that by that time he was not at all a movie star or nothing. He was just a good karate champion, owning his own, running his own gym, and he was convinced that he would become a big star.
Okay.
He was a karate champion, but there is better karate champion than he is in the world. He was not speaking English. He had not attend courses in acting schools. So he had absolutely no reason to believe that he could even have a very small play in any movie. So when he was telling to everybody, I have no time to give you advice and I have to take care of my career, you know, I'm becoming a big movie star. That was very funny.
T'as beaucoup de chance!
When I have to push at the end, yeah, I can push with my career. When something happened bad and something go wrong, I always come up with that extra punch and I succeed. But it's good to have that fight because then I've got something to do in life. If I don't have that, then what else am I supposed to do? Producing?
The popularity of martial arts movies in the USA was mainly due to the support of African Americans. And it wasn't long before producers started seeking out black martial artists, such as Ron Van Clief and Jim Kelly.
After the death of the Dragon comes a new American superstar. 16 years in the martial arts, 7th degree black belt, and 4 times world champion. Introducing Ron Van Clief as the Black Dragon. We said enough. Now we'll let him do the talking.
I started my martial arts training in 1957 with Grandmaster Moses Powell at the St. John's Community Center in Brooklyn. I studied the art of jiu-jitsu. While I was studying jiu-jitsu with Moses Powell, I studied with Ronald Duncan, the art of ninjutsu. And through both of those masters, I met George Cofield, which started me in the Shotokan system. 1960, I joined the Marine Corps. I went to Okinawa, and I studied Shorin-ryu and Ishin-ryu with the Grandmasters Shimuoku. Shortly after that, I went over to Hong Kong, and I started studying Wing Chun and the monkey systems. In 40 years of martial arts studies, I've attained black belt in 10 different forms of martial arts. I got my first chance at working in films in 1966 when I joined the East Coast Stuntmen's Association. So I got a chance to work on the early black exploitation films, the Fred Williamson stuff, the Shaft movies, that type of thing. In 1973, I met Severum Karalexis, the president of Madison World Films, and he took me over to Hong Kong, where I worked with Yoban Yi. He was a manager with the Shaw Brothers company, and he signed me to a 5-film contract as the character, the Black Dragon. When I first went to Hong Kong, they were not really confident that a black man really would know the martial arts, and I was tested quite often, not only on screen but in the different schools. So I had a chance to really test myself. I learned a great deal in Hong Kong, not only about film but about martial arts. My emphasis in martial arts, really, the real part of the martial arts helped me in Hong Kong, because choreography is really just technique, but done in a more flashy manner. The kicks are posed, and it's more grace and fluidity rather than power and speed. So the transition for me from real martial arts competition to the screen was quite difficult at first. I kicked a few stunt people, I punched a few stunt people. I injured one guy in Thailand making a film. I accidentally kicked him. Because when you're making films, you get all psyched up and they want to see the real deal. I started competition in 1960 in Okinawa. Karate competition, sparring, weapons, and kata. In 40 years, I won the All-American 8 times, the U.S. Championship 11 times, and the World Championship 4 times in 3 different weight divisions. As a light heavyweight, a middleweight, and I went up to 210 pounds. I really enjoyed competition. I competed in my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, and my 50s.
Jim Kelly gained worldwide attention after his appearance in Enter the Dragon. His popularity soared for quite a while, with many people touting him as the successor to Bruce Lee.
Dragon, and after I got back from that movie, they called me in again with the president of, well, actually the chairman of the board of Warner Brothers, Ted Ashley. The 3 of them called me in and said, we want to offer you a 3-picture deal to star in 3 films for us and an option on a TV series, and that's where my career really started.
The qualities that make a top fighter are many. Words cannot describe the physical act or explain the mental and spiritual discipline required in the pursuit of fighting excellence. This fight between Bruce Liang and James Nam is perhaps the best example of what the price of victory between two determined fighters can be.